The Vicky 2 economy, where factories fail, unemployment rises, and you don't know why. Well, let me explain to you how I do it. Let's go over the basics. RGOs. RGOs are the province resources. You can click on a province and it will tell you how many people are employed in that RGO and what RGO is produced. Farmers take care of agricultural RGOs like wheat and fruit. Laborers take care of mining like coal or iron. And slaves, just like the ones I have in my basement, work for free and increase production without paying taxes. Alright, now that this is cleared, you must know that production will increase if you have more of these. But they can be outproduced by other pups if they have more technology than you do. Some of the technologies that will improve RGOs are the ones shown on the screen, and railroads, which you have to build on provinces in order to increase production. And some industrial techs also have inventions that help RGOs. Now comes manufacturing, which is the most important part of an economy. It consists of taking goods to transform them into others to either be directly consumed or be processed again to become another different good. Artisans, craftsmen, and clerks are the pups that are directly implicated in the manufacturing process. Let's break them down. Artisans are stronger than factories in the early game but fall behind as time goes on because no technology makes them improve. Their production is much more flexible, so they can one day be producing furniture and another day be producing wine. And they're also more available and easy to obtain for uncivilized nations because craftsmen and factories are harder to obtain. Talking about craftsmen, you can guess that at the beginning they are not very worth it, but the more techs you have, the better they get. Then, your farmers and laborers will also need a lot of literacy for them to become craftsmen more easily, so make sure to have clergymen. And finally, as we said, they are harder to get for uncivilized nations because you need factories for them. With this explained, let's talk about clerks. They only appear once you have 50% literacy, so again, make sure to have clergymen. Then, the best ratio is 20% clerks and 80% craftsmen, so you can get an extra 50% output, which means more goods and a profitable industry. And finally, 4% of clerks will grant you 2 research points. The technologies that improve industry are those who give input efficiency, output efficiency, more throughput, railroads, and don't forget, a factory located where a good it needs is present, whether it's a factory or an RGO, will have bonuses. With this clear, let's jump to the next concept, trade. Imagine you're France, and you have a big wine industry, and you eventually ran out of fruit. Well, what will happen is that your country will start importing fruit from abroad. This is usually the case when the good missing is not in very high demand. But when something like this happens with a good that has more demand than supply, the situation will change. Let's imagine this situation. There's 3 countries without coal. Well, those who have more prestige than France will have priority in getting their demand of coal met, so they're more likely to get it first. In this case, what can France do? Well, it can either go to war or use the sphere mechanic, which I'll explain. Imagine France is via Switzerland. Well, Swiss coal will now be transferred to France first, because it has total priority, and then will go to the other countries. This goes both ways, so whatever you export will go through your spherelings first and then to the rest of the world. You have to take in count, you cannot apply tariffs on sphere leaders, only great powers can sphere others, investing, improving relations and having more diplomatic influence also speeds up the sphering process. Time for industrialization techniques. Get to know the capitalists. These fellas invest in factories and railroads, and they also have a tiny input efficiency boost. And this is economic policy. It will determine how you will industrialize. There is 4 economic policies that you should know of. There's those that depend on you and your mental health, and those that depend on capitalists. The first one is laissez-faire, which allows no economic intervention of the government whatsoever, but gives you a production bonus. This is best after you have already achieved a basic profitable industry. Then comes interventionism, which allows some basic actions, like expanding factories, granting subsidies, investing in capitalist projects, making railroads, but not creating your own factories. Then comes state capitalism, which is great because on top of the aforementioned perks, it allows you to create your own factories while also allowing capitalists to make their own, which is great for starting an industry early on. And we finally have planned economy, which as the name suggests, the player is 100% responsible for the economy, borrowing capitalists from it and letting you manage everything. It also comes with a little production boost. Whatever economic policy you choose, it will be alright as long as you know what you're doing. It depends from person to person. And reminder, do not increase tariffs and taxes unless you have to. I will answer all your questions only if you like and subscribe, and if you want to go more in depth, I recommend this tutorial by Call Me Ezekiel. See you next video.